Welcome back to D&J React, where music sparks conversation.
Every day.
In today's conversation, it's 2023 K-pop songs that were expected to be hits, but flopped.
Just didn't work.
Interesting. This is going to be fun to watch.
I know.
There's probably a lot of them, considering how many K-pop bands there are.
I wonder if it'll be some of the ones that we actually like that they consider flops.
Maybe. But before we jump in, thank you everybody on GoFundMe and Patreon for all your love and support. You guys are freaking awesome.
Thank you.
With that being said, let's jump in and find these songs that flopped.
K-pop fans always tend to have high expectations of their favorite idols' comebacks, but sometimes these expectations aren't met. So here are the 10 songs that fans expected to be hits but turned out to be flops. Let's begin with Everglow's Slay. Everglow in general have had some pretty difficult times these past 2 years. Yerin had her whole kneeling scandal, which made the company put her on hiatus and had fans wondering what would happen to her. Then the group as a whole disappeared for almost 2 years and people thought that this was it. It seemed like Hwasa Entertainment had simply given up on them and that the group would disband quietly without anyone mentioning it. Then, in July of 2023, it was announced that Everglow would be having a comeback with their mini album All My Girls on August 18th. The teasers looked stunning, and since the girls had been away for a while, everyone had high hopes for the comeback. Then Slay came out. According to fans, the song was underwhelming and sounded outdated, and in general, the comeback didn't do that well. It couldn't reach 50,000 in sales despite the long wait and the desperation of fans, and the streams were pretty low too. You'd think that the comeback would do a lot better since there had been a 2-year wait, but that didn't end up happening. It's honestly sad that the comeback didn't do better because the low numbers might make Hwasa Entertainment delay the comebacks even more. The girls really don't deserve that, and we all know that. Another release that was expected to do much better was EXO's Cream Soda. Similarly to Everglow,
Really?
EXO released their last album in 2021, and with all the enlistments, the fans didn't expect to see the members get back together, even for one comeback. Sure, the members had given hints that they would be releasing something in 2023, but even though they were honest about it, SM Entertainment is not exactly a company to be trusted when it comes to these things. Also, during this time, Chen, Baekhyun, and Sumin announced they were ending their contracts with SM, citing mistreatment and unfair contract terms as the reason for their decision. Additionally, Kai's early enlistment made fans doubt the possibility of a comeback this year, yet the unexpected happened and we got a not that successful comeback. In June of 2023, a week after the 3 members had filed a lawsuit against SM and a month after Kai enlisted, SM announced that EXO would be coming back with a full album. So the stakes were high as it was their first release in 2 years and the group had gone—
I can't even imagine how dirty it is on the back end, like behind the curtains, how nasty it gets, you know, because I mean, if the artists are filing lawsuits against their own company, it's like, how nasty did that shit have to get for you guys to do that? Well, and as a collective group too.
Well, I guess they were saying they were being mistreated too. So yeah, who knows? I mean, we saw some of that going on with BTS, where one of the managers at the time was trying to like smack him and like
in the early days.
Yeah, so I mean, who knows with these guys? Like, I'm
now
sure it's bad behind the scenes.
BTS has like a lot of freedom to do what they want and stuff, but everybody else isn't so lucky.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal, man.
Gone through so much in such a short time. Cream Soda came out, and even though the expectations were high, the album and the song didn't do as well as one would have thought. Maybe it was the bad timing, the limited promotions, or the fact that there were other comebacks happening at the same time, but the comeback kind of flopped when compared to other works by EXO. The album did sell well, and it's no wonder because the album was a masterpiece, but it did significantly worse than other EXO releases, and it was quickly forgotten. Again, it's very likely that this happened because of SM's poor planning and promotions, but it's just disappointing that fans waited 2 years for a full album and the company managed to mess up on properly promoting it. We can mostly agree that one of the most shocking news of 2022 is the news of Genie leaving NMIX and JYP Entertainment. Seeing as she had given no indication of any problems with the company or just any problems for that matter, this was pretty unexpected. However, it was even more shocking when Genie announced that she would be making her debut as a soloist. Things started off on a good note. The teasers were impressive and grabbed people's interest. She would be releasing 5 songs and working with well-known producers, and her title track was a collaboration with the American rapper Amin. This was enough to get a lot of people excited at the release of the album, and even people who hadn't been interested in NMIX were planning.
Actually, like a couple of these so far, I mean, we haven't even done those. Nobody's mentioned them to us, so I wonder how big they are.
I don't know. Like I said, I've never heard of that rapper in the U.S. and I've never heard of any of these bands except for EXO. EXO is the only one.
Yeah, EXO. We did that song too.
Yeah, and it had a lot of views. So
yeah, I mean, it actually did pretty good. So that's kind of odd that they threw that in there.
Kind of shocked that it. I mean, how did it flop when it had like hundreds of millions of views on YouTube?
I don't know, man. Doesn't make sense.
I feel like that ad revenue would be pretty massive.
Oh yeah.
To tune in, but then she was hit with plagiarism accusations, and the album as well as the title track failed to live up to the expectations. While it was good and it had an impressive amount of sales for a soloist that had debuted under a small company, it didn't chart anywhere and failed to make any noise. It was soon forgotten, despite having lots of potential. Genie will likely make a comeback and redeem herself in her next release, so let's wait for that to happen. Itzy's so-called downfall has been discussed for a few months now. They were one of the leading groups of the fourth generation up until Loco was released, and even though they did pretty good even later, everyone was convinced that they'd fallen off. Songs like Sneakers and Cake were the cherry on top, as they were highly hated releases among casual listeners and some fans. Cake had been especially disappointing to fans, as they'd been expecting an entirely different song based on the teasers that had been released. The song didn't chart all that well, and seeing as once Itzy used to rule the fourth generation, the results were not what everyone would expect of a group like them. The song also lost the group a lot of fans, and casual listeners didn't tune in anymore. In the standards of international fans, Itzy's Cake was a total flop, and it ruined the momentum that the group had built ever since they debuted. Again, the charts and sales say other...
Probably should have had better lyrics.
I was going to say,
I think 3 minutes of cake.
The girl bands, the reason why we stopped listening to girl bands was because of Itzy, actually.
Yeah,
because
Cake.
We heard that song, and we've been so used to hearing the girl bands just repeat the same thing over and over again, and Itzy was like our final straw. Once they're like cake over a beat the whole time, I'm just like, please shoot me. Yeah. Like, I can't stand this stuff anymore. So I had to go back to guy K-pop bands that actually have like meaningful lyrics.
We have XG now.
Right, but we completely stopped doing female artists for a second because we just couldn't stand the repeating of the lyrics instead of having actual depth and meaning.
There was no substance to it.
No, it was just kind of like, I don't know, get half naked and dance and repeat the same lyric over and over again for the girl bands, and then the guy bands had like in-depth lyrics that were actually good, and the music videos were good, and then we found XG from our Patreons and Mamamoo from our Patreons, and then we started getting back into girl bands again, but Itzy was the main factor why we stopped listening to girl bands. They're so bad.
Final nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
But XG and Mamamoo made up for it. Now
they're really good.
We're back. We're coming out stronger than ever.
Back on track.
Otherwise, but hey, taste is subjective after all. Yena also had quite the strong start as a soloist, and it had her fans wanting more. Her debut song, Smiley, was a hit, Smartphone was a fan favorite, and Love War showed us a new side of hers that we hadn't seen before. Hate Rodrigo managed to turn the tides, though, and ended up causing a lot of trouble for Yena. Of course, there was the whole thing with Olivia Rodrigo and her team understandably having an issue with her name being used on a track like this, but there was more to the drama. Her team's mishandling of the matter led to the comeback being forgotten very quickly. In fact, the comeback mostly made noise because of the controversy rather than the song itself. It was also Yena's lowest selling album, and we're sure that Yena, along with her fans, would want to move past this little episode, especially with the controversy that surrounded it. Hopefully she'll return next year with a good old banger that will make us fall in love with her all over again. Hwasa didn't have any controversies in regards to her comeback with I Love My Body, but it still failed to perform well. Up to this point, Hwasa had some very popular and
So for us, she's a new one.
She's Mamamoo.
Well, I mean, her by herself.
A solo artist?
Like solo? Hwasa?
Does she do solos?
Hwasa?
I don't know too much about her. I just know that she's in the band Mamamoo.
Some of our Patreon members had mentioned doing some of her songs, so I guess they're like solos, because they're on our list to start working on.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Loved solo songs, even among those who weren't fans. So when she signed with P Nation, fans expected that she would have full creative freedom over her music and release more bops. Then, when she announced that she would be making her first comeback under her new company on September 6th, everyone had been ecstatic. Hwasa was now under a company that let her do anything she wanted, so the expectations for this comeback were over the roof. The teaser pictures managed to raise the anticipation too. They exuded classiness and sophistication, and it was amazing Hwasa managed to display her allure while maintaining maintaining a tasteful appearance. Moreover, the references to Narcissus that had Hwasa looking in the mirror while also acknowledging the viewer was a stroke of genius, so people were looking forward to seeing what Hwasa had prepared for her first release under P Nation. Let's just say that once the song came out, everyone was disappointed. It didn't sound like something that Hwasa would release, especially considering the types of songs she had released in the past. It was a fun, easy listen, but it didn't really hold its ground when standing next to her previous releases. People said that it sounded like an AI-generated Meghan Trainor song in Hwasa's voice, and while I Love My Body isn't the worst song that was released this year, it certainly wasn't the best either. Sserafim had a pretty good comeback after the whole Garam scandal by releasing Anti-Fragile, which was a hit by all definitions. This raised the expectations for their next comeback, especially the teasers. Chogi Sock being involved in the
They weren't really, like, they didn't put, I don't know, like, I don't really remember them like that.
I remember doing them. I remember that song, but it wasn't like a memorable song, something you're gonna put on a playlist.
I literally don't even remember it.
No?
Honestly, no, that guy, they didn't leave an impression at all.
I'm the one that's 52 years old. My memory's supposed to go, not yours.
Yeah, maybe you like them more than I did, because I don't remember anything that they did. I mean, we've done 330 videos just on YouTube and probably another 200 on Patreon, so 500 videos in the last 10 months.
And you can't remember every one of them?
No, isn't that crazy? Like, I can't remember 500 artists. How could you not remember their birthdays?
So disappointed.
How could you not remember their hair color? How could you not remember their eye color?
You don't even know their middle name.
God, there's like 7 to 17 members, and we've done 500 bands. That's like 2,000. How do you not remember all 2,000 people's names?
Can't believe you, dude. I'm so disappointed,
man.
Teaser pictures for Unforgiven, as well as the Nile Rodgers feature, made everyone's eyes turn to them, waiting to tune into the album they were releasing. However, Unforgiven was a bit disappointing for them. It didn't perform terribly on the charts, but compared to Anti-Fragile, it felt somewhat lackluster. It's no wonder that the B-side from the same album, Eve, Psyche, and the Bluebeard's Wife, did a lot better and got more attention than the title track. Thankfully, Sserafim didn't take long to get back in the public's good graces by releasing Perfect Night, but we can't lie. We're very curious to see
too, like the names have something to do with like how you remember bands as well, like the branding, like BTS, easy,
super easy.
Blackpink, easy.
Yeah,
you know, like Sserafim, like how the fuck do you spell that? Like you're on the computer,
yeah, you
trying
couldn't
to
even
spell
type it
that.
in to figure it out.
It's not an easy Google search for most people.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Then I feel like you need to come up with a short punchline, quick name like Nike or like Reebok, like something very quick
that
BTS.
Everybody remembers, and everybody can like type it in for a search and find it immediately.
Yeah, like BTS, perfect example. 3 little letters. You know, we all know what it means though, but 3 little letters, boom, straight to the point. Sserafim, like how do you?
Fem?
Yeah, like I don't know. How do you even spell that?
I don't know.
What they'll release next. Since Sunmi's last comeback was a single album back in 2022, there were high expectations for her most recent release. From the teasers, it seemed like Stranger and its music video were going to be dark and horror-like, and the music video didn't disappoint in that sense. The song didn't have the same effect on people, though. Fans stated that Stranger sounded like 3 separate songs stitched together in a messy way, and overall, the comeback hadn't been what everyone had expected. This reflected on the charts as well. The song didn't chart as well as other Sunmi songs did, and it didn't have a lot of streams as well. Sunmi is a much-loved solo artist in Korea, so the outcome of this comeback, especially after fans eagerly waited for a whole year, was somewhat of a letdown. Well, whatever your opinions may be on this comeback, it's sure that whatever she does will do much better. What song do you think unexpectedly flopped this year? Share your thoughts in the comments, and thank you for watching.
Bro, a lot of those bands didn't leave like a good impersonation on me. Like when we've done them before, like I don't remember a lot of their songs because like almost every BTS song we've done, like even like as much as I really don't like Blackpink, like even I remember their songs.
Yeah.
You know, but a lot of these other bands, dude, are just like faded out after we watched them. I was like, yeah, they didn't do that great.
I mean, the only one that stuck in my head, not in a good way, was the cake.
The cake.
Just because it was so freaking annoying.
That was where we cut ties with all the girl
I
bands.
can't do this anymore.
that was the worst, man. Just I was watching that video, I just wanted to like shoot myself. It's like, God, dude, come up with something else other than the word cake. I was like, you're even like, oh, I wonder what they're gonna say next.
I know, right?
Cake.
3 minutes of cake.
With a beat over the top of it.
It was pretty good, man. That's my favorite song.
But other than that, yeah, none of these other bands really stood out that much. I recognized the Mamamoo.
Yeah.
The lead singer from Mamamoo, though. She's pretty good. I don't know why her stuff didn't do that great. But it goes back to what we were saying where when you're in a group and then all of a sudden you break off and go solo, like
it usually doesn't work.
It doesn't work that great.
No.
Like I've never really seen it turn out that.
I mean,
amazing
BTS, their solos, I mean, seem to be doing really well.
But they branded it smart. They
as BTS,
as BTS Jin solo, BTS, you know, RM solo.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
That's how they brand.
But everybody else is like breaking away from the band to be solo themselves,
not
and
giving
it's not working as well.
Back to their band.
Exactly.
You know, like same with the Mamamoo girl. She didn't say blah 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 from Mamamoo. She didn't give her credit back to where all her fame came from.
Yeah, or her fans came from.
Where so BTS does that every single time, which, you know, draws everybody in from BTS.
And they recognize ARMY too, coming from BTS,
Yeah.
the same family, the same friends, you know, the same fans, everybody.
That's where I think a lot of these soloists go wrong. They don't give credit back to where all their fame came from, and then they try to break off and be selfish or greedy and not give credit where credit's due.
Exactly.
That's where they all fall off. But good stuff, guys. Let us know down in the comments if you have any more videos like this, and also make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification for more. If you want to see exclusive content, jump over to Patreon. We're giving 7 days away for free and 15% discount when you pay up front for the year. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.